Hello and welcome to this session where we are going to have the introduction of our unit Office Procedures 1. Office Procedures 1, of course, is a unit which will equip you as a secretary to know on how to handle the office as a whole, because by the end of the day, you are looking forward to work in an office. So there are so many things you are yet blank about the office. You don't know the functions of an office. You don't know what goes around in an office. You don't know how to file documents, because in computerized document processing, we talked about the area of typing documents. Now, after typing these documents in office procedures, we also learn about what we call filing, and that is where you know how to arrange your documents. You can learn how to arrange them according to dates, how to arrange them according to the names of people, how to arrange them according to the names of cities and stuff. So by the end of the day, it is also an important unit because it will also equip you on there is an area of what we call wages and salaries. On the area of wages and salary, we'll be learning on how to calculate how people are being paid in an organization, because there is a difference between a wage and a salary. With salary, people are paid or at the end of the month according to the agreement with the employer, while with the wages, you can be paid maybe on daily basis, weekly basis, hourly basis, or according to the agreement which you have made with your employer. By the end of that topic, wages and salaries, you also draft a pay slip, or we shall see how a pay slip or how what an employer does to come up with a pay slip to each and every employee. We shall also have an area of the documents which are used in traveling, because as a secretary you should know how to arrange for the traveling documents for your boss. By the end of the day, you should know how to prepare what we call an itinerary, which is a document which is used by a boss when they are traveling, to show how the schedules of their activities are being done, who they will meet at what time, where they will have they will spend their day, where they will spend their night and stuff. By the end of the day, office procedures will equip you with everything you need to know about the office. You'll know about the reception. We'll know about also warehousing. Sometimes you can be given duties in the warehouse. You don't know about a warehouse. You don't know how a warehouse looks like, how things are done in the warehouse. We'll also learn about the duplication of documents, or what we call reprography. This is where we'll see the introduction of photocopier machines, printing machines, and computers there, because by the end of the day, after typing these documents, we need to produce copies of the same documents. So we have the first thing which you're going to see here, which is a definition of an office. So how can you define an office? So an office is a room or a building where information is needed to run a business activities, or where the information which is needed to run business activities are taken from or are kept. By the end of the day, if, for example, you report to any organization, you don't go straight to the person you needed to see, or the person you have an appointment with. You first pass to the office or reception so that they can direct you where you are going to go after that. That is the area where they will be able to call even the person you wanted to see, or the person you had an appointment with, and tell you whether the person is in or not in. And if the person is not in, what are the directives? If the person is in, also what you are going to do about it. So this is an important area whereby all the business activities, administration activities, anything about employment of employees, everything which is undergone in the office. Of course, everything is handled there in an office. Everything in an organization, everything an organization handles, it is carried out in an office. We also have the other area, which is the functions. What are the functions of an office? I will not mention all of them because, of course, I have given you the content on all the functions of an office. So I will just mention on the basic part of the functions of an office. The first function is obtain information. For example, if a person is looking for a job, of course you saw an advert of a particular organization on the TV, you watch it on the TV, you read it on a newspaper. The next step you're going to take is go down and go ahead and write an application letter to that organization. So where are you going to take that an application letter? The application letter, you are going to take it to that organization, of course. So that process whereby they are going to take your application letter from you and now pass it to the next department, that is what we call now the obtaining of the information. So an office can obtain information either in form of written form. Written form are now like those letters, memorandum, CVs, and the others. They can also receive the information through the word of mouth. Because, for example, if you visit an organization physically, you are going to inquire about something which you needed or something which you saw an advert about, but yet you are not sure, you needed to know more about that organization because you go to that the organization physically. So what you are going to obtain there is through the word of mouth, because you are going to negotiate one-on-one with the person who is going to help you. An office can also obtain the same information through telephone call. You can also make a call to that organization, and then by the end of the day, you get helped on the area which you wanted. And also, the other part is to record information. After the office has obtained the information, the second part is to record the same information. So remember, by the end of the day, this information will be required in future. So they need to have an evidence of that particular information, whether it was received through the word of mouth, whether it was received through telephone, whether it was received through written form. They need to record that. If, for example, it is the information which was received, of course, through the word of mouth, they can have what we call a dictating machine, which is a machine whereby, for example, if someone works in an office, you put it on. You record the person, whatever they are talking about. By the end of it, when they are done talking, you stop it and you record that. So by the end of the day, that the dictating machine helps a lot, because sometimes you find that if, for example, a person comes in an office, you are the secretary, and maybe you are working on something else, and you end up getting the information through the word of mouth, and maybe you even forgot putting it down. When the boss or the executive who was to be given that information comes, you keep meandering about what the information was all about. You keep guessing, and that is the moment where you distort that information, or where you change. In fact, you change the original message to something else. So the dictating machine helps you to acquire the original information from the source. The other part of the recording of the same information, if, for example, it is about the written information which was about letters, CVs, and stuff, you are going to record that in either in files, or if you have time, you can also type the same. But files, keep it very safe, and you can also, they have different types of files. So of course, you shall see that when you go to the area of filing. So you can file the same letters, so that by the end of the day, there is a way you indicate. You shall see in filing how you indicate, so that you can know. If, for example, that person comes to your organization, even 10 years, he was there 10 years ago, and then he is back for some information, you're not going to take a lot of time trying to retrieve or trying to get that particular information from the same person. The other part is, after recording the information, they have to arrange the information. So you are going to arrange information in such a way so that you can make sure that you don't mix up the kind of information you have taken. For example, if because in every organization we have different departments. We have like the accounts department, production department, administrative department, the human resource department, and the others. If, for example, it is an invoice which you received for sales department, you are not going to file it for accounts department. So you are going to sort out your information so that you are going to arrange your information according to where they suit. So all the invoices should be filed together, all the application letters filed together, all the dismissal letters for the people who have been dismissed from the job, they are filed together. So anything, for example, even when you go to the former school, the former high school which you were in, if, for example, you need information like because when you get to any organization, inclusive of schools, there is a file which is usually opened for you. And in your file, they usually keep every information, everything you did when you were in that organization. So if I told you need any, for example, it's about the proof of your fees, maybe they have reason issues that you are not going to get your resources because you still have pending issues on fee. That way, they will be able to look where the receipts they used to give to keep the receipts about the payment of the fees, and they will be able to retrieve the particular fees. Maybe you are claiming you paid through a bank, and this is the date and stuff. They will be able to retrieve the same. The other part after arranging information is giving information. Remember, by the end of the day, it is the duty of the office to distribute information. Communication is very important in any organization. If, for example, there are things which have changed, the staff are not aware of anything which has changed. So they will only know that through communication. And when it comes to this communication, it can be either privately or they can also do it with what we call in the office. In the office is whereby that information you can find it on the notice board. Something which is not private was kept in the notice board, whether it is a memo, whether it is a warning, whether it is whatever it is, and it is meant to be public for every staff to read about that, it is kept on the notice board. And if, for example, it is something which is private, of course, they will address a letter to the particular individuals. The other part, in the last part, of course, I've said this is not all. I have given almost like 10 points on the content which I had given on the portal to safeguard the assets and control the assets of the office. Asset is the property. These are the properties of the organization. Remember, by the end of the day, if an office is not going to do the controlling, there will be what we call misuse. By the end of the day, people will tend to be misusing everything they get. If, for example, it's about production department, and maybe take, for example, an organization which produces like things like breads. So by the end of the day, you will find that if, for example, it is in that area, you find the person with, because there is, of course, the person who is in the store, and the person who is in the store does the issuing of the items which are needed by the production department. So you find that sometimes they have ordered bundles of flour, but the wheat flour, of course, they had been given earlier, which was even enough for the next week. So if there was no control and there's no stiffness from the side of the person who is in the store, there will be misuse in the home, because that is why you find that some people are even carrying these items to their homes. By the end of the day, it will bounce back to the organization because they will need to buy other items. And remember, when these items were being bought by the start of the year, maybe, for example, even by the start of the month, the organization has made a budget and known that this budget will carry out to this particular month. And when it comes to an area whereby they are now misusing or taking some of their items for their own use, it will bounce back now to the office to get some other money from some other department in order to compensate in this area. Because when they come to an area whereby they have budgeted everything, they have allocated everything to a particular organization. This particular department needs this amount, this other one needs this amount, and this other one needs this amount. That is what is kept by the organization. And the other part is types of offices. Before we go to the types of offices, there are some things which you have to consider when you are locating an office. We don't just locate an office anywhere. An office is not like any other business, because this is an area whereby this kind of an office needs to be a place where we have calmness, a place where people can concentrate, because by the end of the day we have areas like people who are working on account. They need to have peace when you are working on that, so they make sure that they are not making mistakes. We have the site cost. How much does it cost you to make sure that you have an office? Like in CBD, it is very expensive to have an office in CBD because a lot of people can access that area. Site facilities. Site facilities, we have like banks, we have parking space, security. That area where you are locating an office, do we have enough banks? Because by the end of the day, we need to do transactions and take our money to the bank. Transport facilities, of course, with the transport facilities, we need where we can access public transport facilities. The market where, of course, the market where you are going to locate an office is whereby the people who live there, they need those services which you are offering. So, if, for example, it is maybe a taboo for us that the people who are living in that area to take the services you are just offering, you cannot just set an office in such a place. Prestige, somewhere where even your staff themselves, even not you, your staff themselves are proud, even welcoming their friends to visit them in that particular area. And the other part is the government policy. License. Remember, you cannot start any business without a license, so you have to apply a license with the government and also pay the imposed taxes by the government. And then the tax officers, you have said you have the open plan. Open plan is where we find an office which has no divisions, but different departments are in that office. Like our office here, our staff room here, we find that all the staff, like we have like secretarial teacher is there, accounting teacher is there. So by the end of the day, we have different people who are living in that particular one room, but they have their different desks. But those desks, they are not divided by walls or cabinet like the way you see in a bank. That is not an open plan. An open plan is an open room, just as the way as the name goes. It's an open room whereby all the staff are situated there and they handle different areas. And then we have the private or the enclosed office. It is whereby one person or few persons share a room. And in this case is whereby we have like a boss and the secretary, or a boss and the assistants. Then we have the panoramic or the landscape. Just as the name goes, it has different departments, but it is divided by flowers or small plants, because this kind of an office is an office where has a nature essence. It has to bring that serene environment of a natural environment. So by the end of the day, the panoramic or landscape kind of office, it is an office which is divided by flowers, and they are not left to grow so big. They usually trim them to make sure that that environment also looks serene for the workers and also the customers who are going to visit the organization. We have the advantages and disadvantages which I have covered in the portal, and I have explained them very well. Thank you for your time.